Well, welcome to episode 15 of the Bailey Joe Show. Tonight we have a very special guest. It's Adam from Heroes for Sale. He has an awesome podcast, which he does daily, right?
It is daily, yep.
Daily. I would say that Adam has a really unique take on the market, and he talks a lot about how real life situations and like how sports, like everyday sports and what's happening, well, when sports are here and like being and happening, I guess. But he talks about how they affect the market as a whole. Is that like a good analysis of your show, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, I think I'm coming from maybe more of a like marketing perspective, sort of. So like the marketing aspects of a certain topic or subject is kind of how I'm seeing like how there could be maybe more growth in a certain area versus maybe not in a certain area. I guess kind of I would explain it that way too.
Yeah, it really is good. I've listened to several of them, and like every time I'm just like, wow, that's actually very valuable information. So
yeah, that's what I was going to chime in on. Yeah, there's always good value in your content, and honestly, that's one of the hardest parts about making content, especially daily, is continuing to provide value. And so kudos to you. You
have a very unique way of delivering your content, and it's different. There's like nobody else really makes content like you do.
Thank you so much.
Doing it.
So
that's like what I saw somebody on Twitter said that I was very knowledgeable, and I was like, finally.
You are.
Yeah, I think that was me. That might have been me.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So
the respect is on its way.
A lot of what you are into, especially as of late, are soccer cards, and one of the things you like to take a look at are like short prints, and so Joe has bought a couple, right, of the Messi. What card is
it? The Topps Living, just a few of the Messis. I bought a bunch of Christian Pulisic ones, but his isn't quite as short of a print. I think he had like 1,100, something like that.
I think Messi's was the first one of that set too. I think that one actually might be the highest. That one might be the highest print run of them all. But if you're buying like the PSA 10s, like, I mean, I think that's a good way to go with some of these short printers, especially like those ones. Like if you've gotten them, they're printed on like the paper stock, so like they move around and they're not. A lot of the times they're not centered, so like the graded ones are definitely a good way to go with those as well.
I agree. Yeah, I got a stack of them, and I would say most of them are pretty good, but they're still cheap enough, or at least affordable enough to buy in a PSA 10 or even 9s, which is just a whole other category of that we could get into. You know, the underappreciation of what PSA 9s I think could be in the future too.
Do you know when this started, Adam?
The set, like I don't remember when the first card was, but I think the first three were like Messi and Pulisic were the first three, or two of the first three that were printed. I think it was last year at some point, but I'm not 100% sure. Like I think they do it every week, so like I don't know what card they're on now, but so if you figure they come out with 3 a week, whatever card they're on now, just divided by 3, and then count back the amount of weeks, and I think I'm pretty sure that would give you when it actually started.
Okay, card 172 and 175 to 177.
I mean, there also could have been a break. Like they could have taken a break when the seasons weren't playing, but if they weren't, then that would mean it was like 60 weeks ago. So like almost a little over a year.
Oh, so they've actually been doing. Okay, so they've been doing this since 2018. It says I didn't even realize that.
That would make sense because that's the Sancho and Mbappe cards are from 2018. So that would make sense.
Wow, have you bought any?
So I have the Sancho, I guess I pronounce it both ways, but I bought 4 of those like 6 months ago probably, and then I bought 2 Mbappe's, and then when the Haaland cards were released, I bought 4 of those. So those are all the tops living for soccer. I also do like tops living for baseball as well. So I have some more, like I have Bo Bichette and Luis Robert, and then I think I have some Ronald Acuna PSA 10s that I bought. But I mean, that set is one that I actually really like because of the print run aspect of it.
I can't even find Topps Living set.
Yeah, and then I think Jadon Sancho's print run is like 200. Like, there's some super short print runs in some of those, which would be just fun to see what happens with those down the road.
Yeah, I mean, those are definitely the short printed, and the fact that you know how many are printed are two reasons why I think the set is a little bit underrated in my opinion. Like, I feel like it's the people who like it really like it, like myself, and I feel like the people who just don't even really know about it, like, it's just not even on the radar.
Mm-hmm. Especially with Project 2020 right now, that's been kind of a distraction, to say the least, in the sports card community, I think, in a lot of different ways. So I think there's a lot of opportunities to catch some things under the radar like this, but you really got to be looking, because, I mean, we delve into sports cards every day as well, and, you know, there's things that we're still figuring out and kind of finding little niches here and there and areas where we want to collect, and you know, maybe different areas where we want to try and, you know, flip some money to build our collection, or however you do it.
That's so true.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, back in, like, February and March, I was really looking into a lot of, like, secondary tier cards to buy for, like, basketball. Kind of before all the virus stuff happened. That's what I was really looking at pretty specifically. And I think that's, if you're a newer collector, I think learning the sets is sort of the way to go, because you're doing the research on all of the sets. And I think it's hard if you are just looking at Prism, like for basketball at least, because Prism at this point now has become like a high-end product. Like a PSA 10 Zion is like $800, and it's like somebody coming in doesn't have $800, but you can buy like a Hoops Zion for like maybe like $150 to $200, and I think that's maybe a little bit more reasonable. And that Hoops set, I think, is one that's a decent set to look into, like if you are like a new collector or something like that.
So would you say that you're looking like 3 years ahead?
I guess it kind of depends on the card. Like I think the 3-year timeline for some of the stuff, like, I mean, for me at least, I don't do a lot of collecting. So like a lot of basically I'd say 90% of the cards that I'm buying, I'm planning on selling in the future to, like, maybe down the road do a little bit of collecting. But for me, it's not exactly about collecting right now. So like it kind of depends. Like in February, in March, I was looking at some of the Donovan Mitchell PSA 10 select cards, and I bought like I think 4 or 5 of those. It was something, I forget how many I bought. It was something like that. But I had planned on then selling them either at the beginning of the NBA playoffs or during the NBA playoffs, because I liked the Jazz to kind of perform, and I thought he was going to be the best player. So like in that case, it was like a 6-month thing that I was looking at.
I get you. That's next level thinking in the hobby. But for soccer, that stuff is all like super long term. Like I'm thinking 2026 for a lot of that stuff. That's what Joe always says, literally.
Yep. It's interesting how quickly the prices are going up, though. I'm actually kind of like, one thing I wanted to ask you, Adam, is with soccer having so many different release dates of sets, when you know, Topps picked up soccer versus when you know, Panini started putting soccer cards out there, there's a lot of set rookies out there for players, and there's variants in different countries that soccer players are coming from and different leagues that they play in, and so you've got almost like a like a first year jersey effect, like LeBron has on the Lakers jersey, with some of these, you know, Messi with Barcelona versus his Argentina jersey versus, you know, Cristiano with, you know, Juventus and these different teams. It almost opens up. I see a lot of the eBay listings as Messi's first Prism card. That's what they're calling the 2014 Prism card. And it's not necessarily a rookie card. I mean, his rookie cards are, in thousands of dollars. The 2004, whatever that cracked card is that is out for him right now. But I'm been amazed to see how the prices of these Prism cards have more than doubled in the last couple months. And some of his older Don Russ cards, numbered cards, are different ones that I'm looking into getting as well, and those are starting to really just shoot up the price.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very surprised, honestly, that soccer has gained as much popularity as it has over the past 6 months. Like I said, a lot of the soccer stuff, I mean, I'm planning on, and it is tentative on tomorrow I could want to sell everything, but especially at where we are now, because for an example, I bought the 2018 Mbappe Prism PSA 10 over the summer. I bought 4 of them, and I bought them for $40 a piece. So
oh my gosh!
And now they're at $500 a piece, and I wasn't expecting them to get to that level until 4 or 5 years down the road. So for me, I'm amazed that some of these cards have gone to the price that they have so quickly. Another example is over the summer, I was buying Neymar 2014 World Cup Prism. I was buying singles for $1 a piece, and now they're $12. So
yeah,
I think I bought it was actually funny because I was on I forget I think it was eBay, and listings, I think it must have been the same person, kept putting them up for $1, and I just kept buying them, and I couldn't stop. And I was like, I need to stop buying these cards because I don't know if they're gonna. I didn't know they were gonna do what they did so quickly. But you know, I'm surprised by how quickly soccer has kind of become almost as popular as football.
Yeah.
And maybe not
close.
Not wide, but the soccer collectors are as into the cards as I think football. I wouldn't say it's as with basketball or baseball. Those are probably number 1 and 2, but I would say it's football, no pun intended. Both footballs are pretty close to each other.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think even right now, I think a really good buy in soccer is finding autos of players. You can find Neymar autos for under $150.
Yeah,
that's just to think of some of the top 10, NBA players or whoever, their autograph, doesn't matter what year they're from, is going to be worth a ton of money.
A lot of soccer autographs are on card too, which I think is something for Panini that people really like, because a lot of Panini autos are sticker autos, and then even some Topps ones are sticker too. But it seems from what I've seen, for people who are collecting soccer autos, that's a big seller for them, is that the fact that you can get a Messi auto that's on card.
He touched the card, right? It's not just a sticker he signed.
Right, exactly.
Wow.
Maybe some of the greatness will wear off, maybe.
You know what it seems to me like a really undervalued buy too, are mem and patch cards of players that for some reason just don't have the value I feel that the autos do, or some of the even the numbered inserts and things like that. It just seems like that's a good buy and something that would be kind of cool to have for a collector.
Yeah, I haven't looked too much into memorabilia cards. I look more into base rookie stuff, but I think if you can get because one thing that Panini does that kind of annoys collectors is they do the player worn, which is actually just they could have worn the jersey for 2 seconds and then they make it into 20 cards. So that's something that sometimes collectors don't really like that much. But if you can get stuff that's game worn and has the authentication, baseball does that with a lot of their stuff. If you can get that authentication, I definitely agree with that point.
It kind of feels a lot of times the older generation of collectors kind of influence what happens in the card market. And in that sense, I think they've sort of influenced away from some of those memorabilia cards probably for some of those reasons, I would think.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, I agree with that.
So what rookies then in soccer, besides some of the more obvious ones, do you see as being some up and good coming buys that potentially could be, you know, our dollar purchase cards or $20, $30 cards that, you know, maybe next year could see some rise?
You know, I think an interesting player two interesting players. The players that I've been looking at pretty intently this year have been Erling Haaland. Back in like December, it's so funny how sometimes stuff like this happens. Like I was doing like a live stream or something, and I was looking up random soccer players that were like going to be moving to a different team, and he was still on his like Austrian Bundesliga team, and I was like, he's a name that I think people should look into. And then he moves to Dortmund, and he absolutely sets the whole soccer world on fire. And I was like, wow, I cannot even believe that. I could have picked any player in the world, and it just happened to be the one that's like ends up being the most popular player this year. And I mean, I could see his like Topps Chrome rookie cards being a little bit expensive when they come out. It could be similar to like Felix Joao last year. I think his Topps Chrome rookies were sitting around like $15 to $20. Like I could see them being in a similar range, and it's all going to depend on like I think how much product they made. I guess there's no way to really know. But then another player that I like is a young guy who plays for Barcelona. His name is Ansu Fati. He just started getting playing time on the main squad, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be in Topps Chrome Champions League because he's been in some other Topps Champions League products throughout the year. So those are the two guys that I'm pretty much looking out for, and they may not even be like under the radar names, but like for the most part, I think soccer is pretty underpriced. Like, to get like Mbappe, who's basically the best young player in the world right now, I think getting his cards at $500 is still. I mean, like look at Luka, like look at like Giannis, like
yeah.
And I think those cards.
How much are these Fati cards?
The interesting thing about Fati is he actually has a Mega Cracks card, so the same card that Messi had. So a 2019 Mega Cracks card that I think I bought two of them for like $15 a piece, like probably back in December. But the Fati cards that are coming out in Topps Chrome, they aren't out yet, so I'm not 100% sure, but I could see them going for like 15 to 20 probably.
Wow.
So you think he's going to be you think he's going to be a chase card?
Him and Haaland are probably the two like rookies that are going to be in this product most likely. That'll probably be the two like main chase cards.
So I see that he has an Obsidian card. That one's sold for like $150 offer price.
Yeah, he's been in some other Champions Leagues Topps and then Panini products this year, so that's why I'm pretty sure he's going to be in Topps Chrome Champions League.
All right, so Ansu Fati is the next guy. Wow.
He's the next one to add to the collection. You know, I really
he's like
think
16.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
It's crazy.
That's so crazy. Dang. Do you buy any Select? I have like a slight personal obsession with Select cards and some of their die cuts. Well. And they have a lot of really cool numbered variations and just a clean, nice looking set. I'm really starting to buy a lot more Select.
Yeah, I mean, I think Select is like super underpriced in my opinion. Like when I was buying Donovan Mitchell, I was looking at the Select card, which granted I bought them for $25 a piece, so like it was fairly cheap compared to his like Prism card, which was like I think it was $90 at the time. And even Tatum, I bought a Tatum Select card too for like $75. This in the same time period as the Donovan Mitchell, which that actually stemmed from. I was trying to buy a Luka course, the concourse, like the short printed, like high numbered one.
Oh wow!
And I don't know if you guys know this, but like Probstein is a company that like does consignment stuff, and they do some sort of shady stuff. And they sold the same card with the same PSA serial number that I was trying to buy. They've sold it in that time period when I was trying to buy it. They had sold it 3 times previously. And so I lost the auction that I was trying to buy it. So yes, Select. I really like Select. And for soccer, that would be like Pulisic 2016 is going to be Select. So I bought a couple of his cards, his Select cards over the summer. So, I totally agree. Select is another set that I really like as well.
Yeah, I actually, so from, you had your prospect list on one of your TikTok posts of the soccer players, and one of the players I kind of knew a little bit about and liked his story and thought it'd be cool to have a goalie was Gianluigi. And I got just like a handful of like numbered select die cuts for like $4 or $5 a piece, like just beautiful cards of a potential good player that was just fun to buy, and they're just really nice to look at. So we'll see what happens, but regardless, I can't believe you can buy such, you know, specific short printed cards, you know, out of 60, out of 20 for, you know, cheap prices like that.
Yeah, Select is, I mean, it's a really great design, and I mean, it's hobby only for basketball, so that's another reason why I like it. It's a little bit hard. It's a little bit harder to get. Like, granted, if you couldn't get Prism anywhere other than like online, and you're paying triple, quadruple for it if you're trying to buy it online. So, like, granted, it's how much harder is it to get than it is to get like Select, but either way, I mean, it's hobby only, so that does limit the supply a little bit compared to like Prism or like Optic.
I bought two of those. I bought two of the 16-17 Select boxes like probably about a month ago, and they've already increased like at least $50.
Wow.
What'd you guys get them for? Like 130 or 140?
Yeah.
Because they're like over 200 now. They might even be like close to 250. I think I've seen the hobby box, right?
It's literally been about a month. Ben bought 3 of them, and I bought 2 of them.
Are you guys going to personally break them, or are you going to do a box break?
I couldn't see myself opening it for myself.
Well, Adam may want to know about that box break. I know I do.
I don't know who else is in that product, but like Pulisic obviously is coming out of that product. And I mean, I think for Americans, that's the big guy. I think.
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody else that would be in that year. But I mean, that would be the guy that I would do a
pick your team, and that's what's holding me back is because like I have no idea how to price each team. It just seems over my head. But if I just sat down and did it, I could figure it out.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, man. I don't know. And really to have enough people interested in soccer for box breaks it's still growing. So it would be probably kind of difficult to fill those spots, I'm sure, too.
So the last thing that I wanted to talk about was now that the Premier League and MLS are coming back, like I feel like the Premier League was just starting to like gain some momentum in the United States. Honestly, it was past, like it already had some momentum this season from last season and maybe even the year before, but now at the beginning of this season, it really had a lot of momentum, and even the MLS was starting to pick up some momentum as far as how many fans it had. Like, you just look at the stadiums at an MLS game, and they're literally full every time wherever you go.
I actually started watching like the Revolution, which is the team from New England. Like, I actually started watching like most games that were on TV this past season. I mean, they did get like Bruce Arena as their coach, who is like a iconic U.S. coach. So like that was one reason why I followed them. They also went on like this crazy long win streak at the end of the season. So that was another reason. But yeah, I mean, the MLS, like the tournament that they have, I think is genius. Like I think soccer in general, I think this is going to be a pretty big stepping stone for the sport because it's the only sport that's back. Like, I think that's one reason why I was looking into a lot of like German league players, and I think Premier League. I think there isn't really many diamonds in the rough. Like with the German league, you're finding a lot of younger guys who eventually will go to the Premier League, or eventually will go to like La Liga or like one of the other larger leagues. And then even with MLS, that you can kind of find that, but it's not as not as much of a hotbed as like some of like the German league. But so I think for soccer, definitely seeing these leagues come back first compared to some of the other sports in America, like I think they're going to take some big strides for cards and just for the sports.
So the MLS is literally coming back July 8th. Like that's its start date?
Wow. Yep. Well, it's nice. It's a nice place for players like Ibrahimovic to stop into LA Galaxy and just come out and put on a show for everyone too, because I mean, when that's going to happen more often with more of these players as they get older, but you know, they want to keep playing, and they can probably make some pretty good money playing in the MLS, and you know, come see the States for a couple of years, and you know, finish off their season that way.
Yeah, and the newest team is there's a Miami team now Miami team's owned by David Beckham. So
what?
Like I forget, it was at the beginning of last season. Like there was I forget who put out the graphic. It might have been Bleacher Report, but like someone put out a graphic of like players who had been rumored to go there, and it was like Messi, it was like Neymar, it was like all these like huge
could you
names.
imagine?
That's what I'm. Yeah, I mean, if something like that happened, that would put MLS like. I guess, I mean, I don't know if it would be over the top, but it would help it for sure. And I mean, I don't know. So Gary Vee talked about the Premier League and how their marketing was actually really smart, because what they did is to market in America, these games are on Saturday mornings. So like for him, when he was a kid, the reason that he became such a big boxing fan was because like, instead of these Saturday morning cartoons, he was watching boxing on Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings. And like, that's basically what the Premier League has done. And that's why I think I would totally agree with that point of why the Premier League has kind of skyrocketed in popularity.
Laying the seed in the younger generations too.
Totally.
Which, I mean, soccer in general as a sport in the United States is already growing faster than any other sport. I mean, its popularity is really on the rise, and so that's nice. They're gonna, that's gonna be great. Wow, it's exciting. It's cool to think about it that way.
I agree, definitely. So, I think the last thing that our question was like what Messi and like Ronaldo, like the top guys, and like the Hall of Famers per se. Like what cards of theirs should we be looking for?
So, you know, with soccer, it's kind of interesting because like it feels like so on TikTok, I've made videos about rookie cards, and all the comments are, it's not called a rookie card. Like rookie cards don't exist in football. Like that's not what it's called. And I'm like, I don't really care if that's what I'm going to call it. So like, I'm sorry that may offends you or whatever, but like, I'm just going to call it a rookie card. Like the 2003 Ronaldo rookie card is like $20K now for like a PSA 10. So like I made a video about it, and someone was like, it's not called a rookie card. And I'm like, sorry, I'm going to call it a rookie card. So if that, sorry, I can't really do anything about that. But the thing, the thing with soccer in general is like the rookie card isn't really defined. Like 2018 was the first year that we really saw like the rookie card logo and the rated rookie logo on soccer cards, like for the Donruss and the Optic, and then Immaculate had the rookie card logo on it. But like Topps doesn't have any way of defining rookie cards yet. And I mean, those are the two, like, I think like there's another company called Futura that makes soccer cards, and they do have like rookie related cards that I think they call rookies, but they don't have like a logo. So like 2018 was one of the first years where we kind of saw a shift in like the rookie card within soccer. So I mean, like I think the on-card autos are a good option, like if you're looking for soccer rookies. But like, and I mean, I also think the prism cards, like the first prism of whoever, I think is another good one, because I don't think there's a defined, like there's cards from early on in a lot of players' careers, but there's no defined card yet, at least. I think going forward there may be.
I feel like the reason it's so hard to define a rookie card is because players are getting traded between massive leagues and not just like between a league. So like a player being traded from the Bundesliga to the Premier League, like you can't be a rookie in both of them.
Right, exactly. Like,
so like they're already professionals. So like that's how it's different than the MLB. Like the MLB has farm systems, and then like you get up to the majors, and there's the majors. It's not like you're going over to Korea to play unless your like career or whatever. I guess you could go
unless you're like Matt Harvey or whatever, the pitcher for the Mets. Yeah, I think also I think the thing with that is like a lot of players, like, they go to the team that they end up being like a professional for when they're like 15 years old. Like Pulisic, he went to Germany when he was like 13 or 14, and he played for Dortmund, but he played for like the youth team until he got called up. I think he was 16 or 17 at the time when he got called up, and it was his first year with Dortmund. And because they also have like the minor leagues is like they have youth teams for some leagues, but then also like leagues in general are just considered like the minors. So like there's a Norwegian league that has like a team called Ajax, and like that's not. It's a league that everyone knows, but it's not considered a league that like a top player is going to go to unless they're getting paid. But like even younger players, they'll start there and then move on. So like Sergio Dest is another American player. He's a defender. He plays for Ajax, and he's been rumored to go somewhere this summer. But like that's kind of what you're seeing with soccer. Which I mean, I'm still like the crazy thing about it is too like I'm still learning, and like. That's one thing that I like about soccer is that I'm learning about new leagues. I'm learning about different small details like every single day.
Oh, that's cool. I think it's been fun to kind of apply what I know about sports cards in general to the soccer world because there are no set rules. It is, it's 100% going to be market driven, and the market hasn't decided yet on soccer. And so there's all these areas where I think you can find ways to get Messi's first card with, a certain team or a player's first card with a certain team and sort of have a rookie card of that player in a sense. There'll be ways to do that. And, just seeing the different short printed numbered cards that you can get now at good prices. I think it's a fun time to be collecting soccer, and you're going to see some crazy, crazy prices in 2026.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like that's a great way to end this. Just keep collecting soccer cards until 2026, and you will see a massive return.
Cash out.
All right, well, thanks for joining us tonight, Adam. Super appreciated. Make sure to go check out his podcast. It's honestly super great, and I'm sure that you've seen that he can talk very well about sports cards in general. So he also does have Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. He's pretty big on TikTok as well. So yeah, make sure to follow him over there.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Adam. We'll definitely have you again, man. This was fun.
Absolutely. Thank you.